United States of America, Africa Command, they have released the footage of the operation that was carried out yesterday that led to the killing of Mr. Abu, the terrorist commander of the Islamic State set, which is also in partnership with ISIS, ISWAP, and Boko Haram. So this is the footage. As you can see from above, they said the man is inside the house, inside the compound. The man is inside the compound there. The compound is that place like a fence building you are seeing. So what they did, and there are a lot of people outside. They first of all used, I don't know the kind of gun they used from far away, from distance, to start shooting people down, shooting people outside. Their mission is to make sure that once they start shooting, people started running into that house. Immediately they started shooting, people started running into that house. And guess what? After shooting round, they killed so many people outside. People ran into the compound. Then they have to bomb the compound. So that was the strategy. So this image was released by Africom. So there is no confusion any longer or doubt, as people have been saying that the Nigerian soldiers, the Nigerian military, they said that, they killed this same man last year. They repeated it in February 14 this year. And now US is saying that they have eliminated the man. So US is showing them the work they have done. Look at the footage of their airstrike. So there is no cause for doubt or confusion any longer. What Donald Trump tweeted is nothing but the truth, and this is the proof.
Let me get into terror financing, and then I'll come to the OSW you talked about.
Yeah.
For you, successive administrations have paid lip service to unmasking prominent Nigerians allegedly financing terror and oil theft. Why do you hold this view? Allegedly so, and do you know? I mean, one would ask whether you know them. If true, what do you think is responsible for the past administration's attitude, regarding this so-called financiers of terror?
Okay, thank you very much again for this brilliant question. Now, let me, relate to my experience, right, as the commander of the Operation Service Wide, which was an intelligence-driven outfit. Now, like I said, we picked the main leaders and other facilitators, financiers, sponsors, and then we commenced investigation.
By picked, you mean you arrested?
Arrested, captured, arrest. Now we picked them. That is, it was a collaborative effort. Those elements that I mentioned, and investigation was ongoing, and the investigation team was made up of representatives from the Department of State Services, from the Defense Intelligence Agency, from the military police, that's the army aspect of it, from the NFIU, the investigation, and it revealed so much. Like I earlier said, right, certain intelligence was shared. We were collaborating with about 33 countries in Europe, Western Europe, Asia and other distant were collaborating with us and distant. Now, in the course of the investigation, I mean, we stumbled upon names of individuals, prominent individuals, and some of them are still prominent, and including the owner of an airline who was ferrying weapons allegedly for Boko Haram and other reasons. So those information, we took our concern, I mean, made our concern known, I mean, the investigation in terms of interim medicine to the powers that be at the time. And some of those people were linked to even cabinet ministers. Some of the people were even arrested. Some of the people who were investigating were linked to them. Were linked to senior military retired now of generals and the rest, just linked to many prominent distant. And in the course of our investigation, I mean, we now, let me just add also, we had 3 representatives from the Attorney Generals of the Federation Office, that's Minister of Justice, that were with us to guide us while we were making the case, so that because ultimately the Office of the Attorney General was to prosecute
those you arrest.
Right. Now, but as the thing progressed, I mean, we started noticing some kind of how should I put it? We noticed some kind of hesitation. I mean, things started coming up like, okay, some of these people, I mean, it would be difficult to pin terrorism financing on them, perhaps money laundering. I mean, look, then you started getting some calls that some people, you know, prominent that you should release, so person is not this and that, something. This. As the commander, I made my concern known to the president, late President Muhammad Buhari. I made it, I said, so this, and I recall on one occasion, he stood up, very angry. He said, General, I appointed you as the commander of Operation Service Wide. You report to me and to me alone. That was his exact words to me. Then General Muhammad Buhari, a great man. I mean, of course, he had his shortcomings. I was very angry when the whole thing happened, and I mean, he didn't even raise a finger to this thing. But I later came to realize, you know, that perhaps he was misled.
You say Atahiru devised a strategy, the late Chief of Army Staff,
yes,
to end terrorism in the north. Fill us in on this strategy. Is it being implemented now?
I don't know whether that strategy is implemented. Before delving into that, let me just say that the military and other security agencies are doing fantastic work. They're doing their best. They have challenges. Perhaps I'll come to that later. I mean, they listen, but they are doing their best, and they have a lot of challenges. Now, the strategy is nothing fantastic to say. I mean, it was just sincerity. Now, we had the OSW, which was on, right? It's set up in 2020, year 2020.
You actually headed the OSW,
yes.
And the mandate was to dismantle the terrorism financing network
Absolutely.
in order to fight against terrorism and insurgency. Will it be correct to say that you could not achieve that mandate?
No, we achieved.
Or that you failed?
No, we achieved. Because we achieved to an extent. Because we arrested the leadership of the Boko Haram, just like I said, the leader. I don't want to mention his name because I'm not too sure, but I understand, I heard from the grapevine that he was released along with the 5 key guys. And that leader of Boko Haram, just like I said, the United Arab Emirates shared that intelligence with us. I know, with all this. And he was the one who even recruited the 6 individuals. They were jailed, 2 for life, 1 for 30 years, 1 for 20 years, another one for 10 years, another one for 5 years, the 6 of them. He was the recruiter of this thing. And yet, right, that man I learned, he and the 5 other guys who had this thing were released. I don't know for what reason. I don't know what reason. They were never prosecuted, not to the best of my knowledge. I don't know whether they were this, but they were never prosecuted. So, you see, those were kind of the fear, if I may use that term or word, the fear that one has over what has happened right now in terms of the arrest of those leadership. We hope that the thing we see will come to fruition. Yes.
You had written to the president concerning your arrest, detention, and compulsory retirement over what an investigation task force you headed unearthed. Tell us more about that.
Yeah. Like I was arrested on the 18th of October 2021 and detained for 64 days under terrible condition, stripped of all my dignity. I mean, stripped, you know, a general being, my head hair removed by a soldier, my boots, I was left barefooted, and in a cell. I mean, it was a terrible situation. And then on 21st of December 2021, they came to release me and they handed over my letter of compulsory retirement. And I made effort to get across to the late former president. And let me just add, as bitter as I am, as pained as I am over what Buhari did to me, as I said, I realized that he was naive. He was misled, and for that I forgive him, you know, and I urge anybody who has this thing, if it's on account of me, to forgive him for these things. But anyway, coming back to that, on the I made strenuous effort to have that injustice corrected. It wasn't. Now on June 7th, 2023, that was exactly 10 days before my late mother passed away. She died on the 17th of June. Along the Kaduna-Abuja highway, I and my driver, we survived an assassination attempt. We were pursued by two vehicles, and at a point I had to call the commander of the troops along that highway, whom was appointed at the time. I was the general officer commanding one division, and they came, and that was what we were able to get away. You know, that was the fourth attempt. And on that, when that thing happened, of course, you can imagine my state of mind. I mean, 2 years after I was thrown out of the army, nothing done, this, and so I now wrote to the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I wrote, and I passed the letter, you know, through a reliable listen to get across to him, because I didn't want to send it through the open mail. I never wanted this thing to be in the media. So that was, it was signed on the 21st of June 2023. Nothing was done. 6 months later, if you recall, January 2024, last year, that was when the news first broke, this day, and then you invited me to arise, and I came and listened. Then,
I'm afraid my time is up. We didn't have time to talk about the Presidency Institute, yes. DOI, which again you heard it was convened there, like you said, by the NSA, uncovering 295 oil tankers that convert petrol with major oil smugglers identified. I
don't know. I was thrown out of the army 2021. So I don't know.
When you say you were thrown out, what do you mean?
I was compulsory retired.
Right.
You know, I mean, there was an operation which I led, the Operation Service-Wide, the counterterrorism, you know, to arrest those terrorism financiers, if you recall.
Right.
It was all over celebrated by even the former president, the former Attorney General, Minister of Defense. When this came out and said we arrested, we picked the terrorism financiers, sponsors, all that. I was the commander of that, and I reported straight to the district. And they were in detention, and that was when we even picked, as a matter of fact, the leader of Boko Haram. The leader of Boko Haram was not Shekau. Shekau, you know,
was
died.
A spokesman, more or less, at the time.
Yes, the poster boy, so to speak. But the real leader, we captured him. And incidentally, or ironically, he's not even a Nigerian, but he claimed he's been in Nigeria for some time, but he's not a Nigerian. So, anyway, we arrested those guys, and they were in detention. We were collaborating with so many countries, about 33 countries, a key Western country, the United Arab Emirates, and we got a lot of intelligence from them. We picked those people. Some were picked from the battlefield, from the front line. Some were even outside the country. We picked them, and they were in detention. And then waiting for them to be prosecuted. Then in September, October 2nd or thereabout, next thing I was invited, said for interview at the military police headquarters. And I went there on the 18th, and I was arrested myself and detained in a cell.
What for?
I don't know. I was 10 initially. When I reported there, the interrogators said when I was removed as a general officer commanding on the 8th of August 2021, I handed over on the 10th of August 2021, 2 days later, because the posting came via signal posting in the night. I became aware of it the following day. That was on the 9th. So on the 10th, I handed over and left and continued with the Operation Service Wide, that one that I reported to the design. The Operation Service Wide was a multi-agency and military, organizations that were this, and the DSS was there, the NFI was there, the NIA was there, the DIA was there, and other this, and I was the head of that organization, and I reported straight to the president, and we picked those people, those top, this thing, including the leader of the Boko Haram, including 5 of the key guys of this thing. I was invited, and then when I got there, they said I was removed as a general officer commanding. That was, like I said, on the 10th of August, and I didn't report to the resource center, the Nigerian Army Resource Center, where I was supposed to listen. And what really happened was that when I was removed, I reported straight to the presidency, and I said, okay, this was what they said, do not report, that they were going to address it.
Right.
And this thing. So I didn't know it was set up. They kept on this thing. I tried to report, they refused to this thing. The former president is there. There are people there in the presidency.
Well, I have to say, that part of it sounds very complicated,
yes,
because we don't really know the background and everything to it.